have a childhood. It wasn't a very long childhood, but I had a childhood.
Yes, I had a childhood.
Yes, I did have a childhood.
No.
Why or why not?
I was very blessed as a child to have parents who nurtured me and gave me the opportunity to play and be myself. But I think that there are kids out there who are forced to grow up much too soon. I think it's natural for children to be playful and be curious and make up games and be creative and explore themselves without them knowing it.
I think that every child has a childhood. Whether their childhood was negative or positive is a sign of kind of how they're raised and their environmental and physical circumstances. I think that wherever there are young children and there is youth and innocence, I don't know if youth and innocence is necessarily a connotation for childhood. I think that childhood usually carries a positive connotation, and because of that people think of like sunshine and drawing and things, but I mean childhood in the sense of the word really is just your years where you grew up.
No, I think that some children don't have, well, everyone is a child once, but not everyone gets to have a similar childhood. Like sometimes I might define childhood with like the toys and activities I did, and not everyone has those opportunities. I think that there will be small moments of childhood everywhere, just kind of like little games or something that happens, but I think kind of the larger, more traditional Americanized childhood doesn't exist everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I think to a point, but I think some kids are robbed of it, unfortunately.
I don't think every child has a childhood. It kind of depends on your circumstances about how fast you're forced to grow up.
No. Because I think that in today's society and with our media and the constant, or the increase of celebrities or children in talent shows and all those types of things in reality TV, that more and more children their childhood is taken away from them because they're forced to grow up too fast in this adult world.
I think there's a lot more emphasis on kids to want to be older, like in their teens. And when I was growing up, I feel like there was a lot more emphasis on being, like, just being a kid. And I mean, I still think they're having a childhood. I just think it's a different type of childhood that kind of has an emphasis on different characteristics.
I think there's obviously more of an emphasis on technology with kids, and I think that unfortunately a lot of them are losing that sense of imagination and how to like pretend play.
I think today's children spend a lot more time in front of screens, playing video games, watching TV, on their parents' phones or their own phones, and they're not as active and don't go outside as much. Now childhood has kind of changed, and it's all about kind of having things and having like a good childhood and making sure that you kind of grow up the right way.
I think there's definitely a substantial difference between today's children and previous generations, mostly because of technology. They, instead of doing their ABCs on paper with crayons, they're now doing it on the television and on the internet. So I think that not only is it different in that aspect, but it's different in the way that they are learning to use technology before some of their parents know how to use it.
I think like my cousin who's 8, she is obsessed about looking pretty and just filling these roles of like Miley Cyrus. And it's crazy to me because when I look back, when I was 8, I do not remember feeling that way. Feeling that I had to be someone or do something just to fit in. And it's scary because I don't want her to be insecure like that, you know?